Alrighty, good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kevin back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a video blog on what to expect as we get towards the middle part of this upcoming work week here. It's been the chatter of the week, the chatter of the weekend, all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. It's all over the place about the middle part of next week if you live here in Arkansas. So I'm starting this off with looking at this. And you're looking at this right now, and you would think that I'm looking at a hurricane out there in the Gulf of Alaska right now. But this is the troublemaker. This is your storm system out here in the Gulf of Alaska right now. As you can clearly see, this is going to be the system that could potentially bring winter weather, even in some cases potential significant winter weather to parts of Arkansas as we get towards the middle and late part of next week, along with a shot of cold air here. So with that being said here, guys, I'm going to kind of make this a little bit brief, kind of make it quick, trying to go over everything, and then I'm going to tackle you guys' questions there. I know there's been a lot of questions about what are we looking at, who for what, etc., etc. I'm going to try my best to answer all your questions here, but this is your system that you're looking at here. But the first thing I want to start off with is this, and this is the number one thing, regardless if we see winter weather or not, the temperature profiles here. So bear with me for just a bit. I'm going to go ahead and get over here real fast here. So this is the temperature profile here. So 6 to 10 days per the CPC, below normal temperatures for much of Arkansas, down into Louisiana and to Texas. Regardless of what happens with the winter weather, folks, it is going to get cold, potentially brutally cold, as we get towards the later part of the week into the early part of next weekend, and even in some cases could drag out into the following week as well here. So regardless if you see winter weather or not, below normal temperatures are going to be here. So if you're a fan of cold weather, then late part of next week into next weekend, and even in some cases the following week will be your best time frame here. So I am going to start you guys off with the GFS here. Okay, so I've already kind of speed blitzed this out. This is around 84 hours out here. So I want to talk about a couple of things. The majority of this winter weather threat is going to be heavy dependent on the track of the low. I am very concerned about two things. One, the potential of an ice storm out of this. You guys have been hearing the chatter all over social media about it. I fully am worried that someone, depending on where this track goes, someone getting impacted by a potential ice storm out of this, okay? Because you've got Arctic air filtering now along with southwest flow. So that is classic ice, but it just depends on where the system tracks. If it's further north, then you push it north. If you're further south, then you push the ice south. Also, the potential of some folks seeing heavy snow out of this. You know, the potential of all snow, but the majority of Arkansas as it stands right now, it will not be an all snow event. Some part of Arkansas, you're going to deal with freezing rain and sleet going over to snowfall here if the southern track is realized. So let's talk about it real quickly here. This is the GFS, okay? I'm going to kind of speed blitz this out, and this is right around 84 hours out. Trey, if you're having issues with the audio, you may have to come back in and out with Facebook. It's a Facebook issue. I'm not sure why. But you can see what it does here. So there's your 1033 millibar high up here in the Midwest. Snow, sleet, freezing rain ongoing in the Midwest right now, and you have rain across Arkansas for Wednesday morning. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is your area flow pressure, as you can see back out here towards New Mexico, is going to develop. I've been talking about this in the blogs. That is an area that you're going to have to watch extremely close. Okay, you got to watch that very closely. Where does it track? Number one thing I'm worried about, okay, and I've seen this setup before, is your Arctic high beats the system. That would be the best case scenario for Arkansas. You want the Arctic air to beat the system because that cancels out warm air aloft, that cancels out any ice potential, and you have snow for much of Arkansas if that were to be realized. The flip side of the coin is if you have the Arctic air and the system coming in at the same time, someone is going to be unfortunately stuck in freezing rain and sleet for a very long time before transitioning over to all snow. So that's what I'm worried about here. So that's going to be the best case scenario with the system. You want this Arctic ridge to beat this system. You want it to beat the system if you want to avoid ice here in Arkansas. I saw that one question about this rivaling the 2009 ice storm. So wait and see. I don't really want to jump on previous events right now because we're still a little bit early in the game. However, it is very concerning about whoever the ice sets up here. But you can see what the GFS does, okay? Your area flow pressure goes from New Mexico to central Texas up into southeastern Arkansas. So that puts northwestern Arkansas in the freezing rain, sleet area, and in the snow further to the northwest of the state here. So the GFS keeps this majority of rain. That's because it's timing the Arctic Ridge with the system, which right now I don't buy. I think the Arctic Ridge is too strong for allow this thing to come north. I'm more of a blend between the north track and the southern track right now, which takes it from central Texas to north Louisiana up into Mississippi, which would bring the potential of winter weather for us here in Arkansas. So the orange that you're looking at sleet, the purple, as you all know, freezing rain, the blue is you're looking at snow. So that's what you're looking at with the GFS. That's one model, by the way. Okay, so that gets out of here. By the way, temperatures behind this. Let's go to temperatures real quickly here. And I know I kind of sound like a broken record with the temperatures, but boy, it is going to get cold behind the system here, guys. So these are potential lows if you go with GFS. Negatives up here in northwest Arkansas, single digits to teens and low 20s. And daytime highs on Friday, folks. Teens in northern Arkansas, 20s and 30s across the area here. So it's going to be very, very cold on Friday if you were to go to GFS. Now, I said before, the GFS is one run. Jeff, I just saw that comment. I knew somebody was going to say that. I knew someone was going to say that this is going to be missing Central Arkansas, Southern Arkansas. Folks, I want to stress, guidance is not going to be our best friend for the next couple of days. All right, it's going to flip-flop a lot. If you looked at the earlier runs for the GFS, it had a full-on winter storm here in Arkansas. So models are going to flip-flop over the next couple of days. You're going to see a lot of maps on the next couple of days, especially when you start talking the NAM thrown into this. So it's a wait and see right now. We're still a little bit early in the game here, but don't just hug one model run because it's going to change significantly over the next couple of days here. So let's go to the Euro real fast here, and then I'm going to kind of tackle some questions because we're getting a lot of them in. But that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about here because I know there's a lot of people that will say that this is going to happen. It's all going to be all rain. It's too early, folks. I think the majority of Arkansas at least stands a chance of seeing winter weather out of this. The question is, will we see accumulating snow, accumulating ice? Where does it set up? All those questions still needs to be answered over the next couple of days here. So here's the Euro. Okay, now I'm going to take this out all the way to the system here. I'm going to go over to this real fast, and I'm going to kind of take this out so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So this is what the Euro wants to do. And the Euro, I'm going to give you a heads up, has the winter storm potential. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Guidance is not in definite agreement right now. Okay, so the Euro is much further south. Okay, has low from New Mexico to central Texas to central Louisiana into central Mississippi, which brings that freezing rain and sleet all the way down to central and south Arkansas, snow north. Okay, and then everybody transitions over as we get towards late in the day on Thursday and a Thursday night as the deeper, colder air filters in. So that's the Euro solution here. Also, you have to watch out back here as well. There's apparently, if you go with the Euro, there's another wave back there that may take advantage late Thursday and on Friday, which would bring snow here because you have the deep Arctic air in place. So as you can see, there's a lot of uncertainties right now with model guys. Okay, my number one concern is somebody is going to get set up with ice, and if you get set up with ice with this particular scenario, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be. That's the number one thing I want to stress to you guys right now. That's the one thing I'm worried about is where does that ice axis set up? Because wherever it sets up, it's going to get ugly, folks. It's going to get ugly as we get towards that middle and late part of the week here. So I think I've gone over all the guidance here, kind of give you guys a little bit of what we're looking at. Let's tackle some questions here. So is there a chance that the entire state will miss the winter weather altogether and just deal with the cold rain? Amber, that is a great question. That's the number one reason why we're not 100% saying that it's going to be a winter storm or a winter weather event right now, because that possibility is still there. All it takes is this system to track into southern Arkansas, and the majority of the state sees a cold rain. I think northern and northwest Arkansas, no matter what setup you go with, you will have a chance of seeing winter weather. Okay, it's almost a certainty for much of northern and northwest Arkansas to see winter weather out of this setup because of how strong the Arctic Ridge is going to be. So the question is, what type of precipitation are we looking at? Is it going to be all snow up there, or is it going to be freezing rain and sleet? That's the number one question up there right now. It just depends on the low. But that is a great question. All it takes is for it to move up into southern Arkansas. The majority of the state sees cold rain. That's why we're not saying that it's going to be a winter storm. We've had a lot of people ask us, is this going to be a winter storm? Is it going to be a winter storm? It's too early right now to make that call. But that was a great question, Amber. I want to thank you for that one. So we're within 7 days. Tell us exactly what will happen as we get towards next week. I wish I could. I wish I had a crystal ball like Jason Hampton and tell you guys what we're looking at. But unfortunately, I can't do that, folks. Let me see here. Which model is more correct for Arkansas branding? I wish I could tell you that too. Right now, I think the Euro has the better handle on the cold air, the system, and the high pressure ridge, because that's going to be the number one key, is how strong this ridge is. Guidance does not do well with Arctic air at all. We've seen this time and time again with previous years where guidance was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then all of a sudden, you get 2 days out, you get a lot of agreement. So guidance never handles Arctic air well at all. It always ends up further south and stronger than what guidance always wants to suggest. That's why I'm saying right now, it's a wait and see. We're waiting to see what's going to happen here. And also, I kind of want to throw something out. Now you're starting to talk about the NAM trying to throw its opinion in this. So the next 2 days, you're going to see a lot of maps thrown your way. Not only from us here, but just everybody. Because NAM's going to be in it, GFS, Euro. You're going to have all kind of model guidance trying to figure out what the system's going to do. So you're going to see a lot of maps thrown y'all's way as we get towards next week here. Actually, Pepper, great question. This system is actually going to get slingshot because of the polar vortex up there in Canada. That's why I'm saying the potential of this going further south is there, because it's going to get slingshot from Alaska and Canada down into the Rockies and then down into our neck of the woods. So there's a lot of cold air. There's a lot of cold air that's been bottled up in Canada. It's going to push southward as we get towards the middle and late part of next week. The question right now is who sees what as we get toward that Wednesday and Thursday time frame here. So can't see the map because of the words. Just turn off the closed captioning thing. That should take care of that. Do you think you have a better idea what we're looking at by Tuesday? I'm really hoping we have a better idea what we're looking at by Monday, because this system is pretty close to land up there in Alaska. We should start getting some samples in over the next day or so. So I'm hoping by Monday, the earliest on Monday, we'll have a better idea on what we're looking at here. But we saw with the last system, sometimes you don't know until it's literally on top of you. So I think we'll have a better idea by the time we get towards Monday here. But right now, I just don't like the setup. I do not like the setup at all here. So if you're kind of tuning in, you're looking at this map here, guys. This is the NAM, by the way. It's 84 hours out, but you can see what it's doing. Ridge here. Your system's back out here towards the west. You're already transitioning over to snow, sleet, freezing rain across southern Missouri and far northwestern Arkansas if you go with the NAM here. So I'm going to kind of back this up to the Euro real quickly here, and I'm going to kind of go over that one more time here. So, Stefan, excuse me, I mispronounced that name. Any chance of severe weather yet? No, you're not going to have severe weather with this setup unless you're in southern Mississippi or along the coast. Even then, it's still a wait and see because you don't have that deep moisture return coming out of the Gulf. You just don't have it with this system. That's why your winter weather side is more favorable to verify versus the severe side right now, because you don't have the deep moisture return coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, which is really good because with the profiles with this system, you don't want severe weather. You just don't want it at all with this system. So if Jeremy, great question. If this goes on a further south track, do you think this could potentially stall out as it turns back to the north and east? That is a very, very, very good question. I even talked about Derek about this morning. The potential of the Arctic Ridge and the Southeast Ridge meeting up east of us is there. Could this stall out? Yes, it could slow down all the way till late Thursday night and early Friday morning, and somebody gets just obliterated with ice and snow. I can see that happening. That's a great, great question. That's another one of our scenarios that we're trying to play out right now, trying to look at and see what's going on. But That was a really great question. I really like that one. So I just need to know when spring warm weather will be here. Popsicle is not my thing here. It's going to be a little bit before we get spring weather here in Arkansas. Unfortunately, in February, as you all know, the weather changes constantly here in the natural state. So appreciate you for being here. I appreciate y'all for being here as well. Thank y'all for tuning in to this live stream here. I just want to kind of give you guys a look on what we're looking at here, because there's been a lot of chatter on social media about this system. So how much snow would be possible in northwest Arkansas? Accumulations right now, I can't tell you. Accumulations are literally all over the place. I mean, all over the place. It's not even a trend right now with accumulations. The main thing we're looking at right now is setup. So I would say, let's just take Euro for example. Okay, so let's say Euro scenario verifies and we get obliterated. By the way, in that dark purple that you're seeing with the Euro, I can't even rule out a potential thunder freezing rain with that, which would accelerate your ice accumulations. The Euro is not Central Arkansas's best friend out of this. Okay, it's just not. That would be a crippling ice storm for us here in Central Arkansas, and then you would go to snow behind it. So it would almost rival the 2009 ice storm if you go with the European model here. So any idea on ice accumulations right now, Jake? No. However, I'm worried about where that ice setup sets up, because wherever it sets up, you could potentially talk about even a quarter of an inch of ice. You go Euro, it's wanting to throw almost an inch of ice on top of our heads, on top of snow. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at it real quick, and I can show you the freezing rain totals here. So let me scroll down to the freezing rain totals real fast and show you what I mean. So this, like I said, Euro's not our best friend at all. It does not like Central Arkansas for some reason. An inch of ice on top of almost 2 inches of snow would cripple Central Arkansas. It's not only central, but southwest up into eastern Arkansas as well. The lower mounts northwest because of the snow, lower mounts in southern Arkansas because of the rain. So Central Arkansas would be the axis. That would be the axis of the heaviest freezing rain and sleet going over the snow if you go with the European model here. But take these accumulations with a grain of salt right now. We're still many days away from this system happening here. So let's take a look at, let's see here, wouldn't the ice be under the snow? Yes, Donna, that would be the case. You'd get freezing rain first with sleet, and then you would get the snow behind it because of the fact that the cold air is coming in rapidly behind here. But that's what's wanting to do. I said for Euro is definitely not our best friend. Be a bad situation the European model verifies. And then here's the before, there's another wave back here that it's wanting to do, and it brings some light snow across the area late Thursday night and early Friday morning, and then it's out of here with a cold situation on Friday. So I don't want to say this is going to be a repeat of what happened in 2009 right now. It's a little too early for all that, but I'm very worried about whoever sees the ice out of this. Okay, it's a very wait and see game right now. And as a matter of fact, thank you for telling me about that, because I'm going to go over to our scenarios real quick. So you guys saw this on the page this morning. I'm going to go over to it real quick, and I'm going to pull this up and show you guys what I'm talking about here. So this is the scenario map, by the way. Alright, so this is scenario number 1, and this is what I'm worried about, okay? Much of central, northern Arkansas, and southern Arkansas are watery mints to snow. That's freezing rain and sleet over the snow. If you were to go with scenario 1, all snow north, and then rain to a watery mints down there in southern Arkansas. The majority of guidance right now has the winter weather potential. The question is, where does the low track, where does the freezing rain and sleet axis sets up, where does the all snow set up? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered in the next couple of days here, guys. So will this impact travel from Little Rock to Wynne, Arkansas on Friday? That is still a wait and see, Heather. Stay with us. Feel free to inbox us, by the way, as well. If y'all have any travel plans for that Wednesday to Friday time frame, feel free to inbox us, guys. We got a full staff that'll be able to help you. Right now, I wouldn't cancel any plans because it's still too early to determine, but I would plan for at least for some winter weather across Arkansas as we get towards the middle and late part of the upcoming week here. So let me see here. Kevin, severe It's not fair, excuse me. Southern Plains Weather Authority. Go like that page as well. They're really, really good with regional. We're talking Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. They cover the regional areas. So if you have any plans out there, that's a really good page to go look at this point here. But he made a good point. Also, another thing I want to talk about is the winds with this. 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. Like I said before, Euro is not our best friend. It is wanting to absolutely devastate Central Arkansas with ice and even the wind with it. So it's not our best friend with this. It doesn't have the all snow here in Central Arkansas. We got to get through the ice mess before we go over to snow if you were to go with the European model here. So what preparations should be made now for a potential major ice storm? Roger, the best thing I can tell you right now, I don't want to tell you that this is going to be an ice storm because of the fact that all it takes is this low to move north and everybody goes to cold rain. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. So this is scenario 2. So this is why I'm saying right now I don't want anyone thinking that this is going to be a major winter storm or a mega storm right now and stuff like that. The potential is there for a winter storm. My problem is right now we're trying to nail down the track. This is scenario 2. Scenario 2 takes the ice up in the northern Arkansas and northwest. If I was in northwest Arkansas right now, I would go ahead and make preparations. I would go ahead and have that idea of making preparations. Much of the rest of the natural state, it's still a wait and see. Right now, it's the track is so uncertain because of the fact that all it takes is this thing going into southern Arkansas and much of the state sees a cold rain. So my best advice for you right now, wait a couple more days, kind of get an idea. We'll have updates for you guys on the page. Once we get a better idea, we'll have a first look preset map out and everything. So right now, it's still a wait and see. And Kevin, he made a great point. National Weather Service, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Little Rock said impacts are possible but not likely. The severity of this situation is still yet to be determined at this point. It is still a wait and see on everything right now, guys. All it takes is this track to go north, cold rain. If it goes further south, you bring all that ice and the sleet and snow into the natural state. So it's kind of a toss right now on what to expect as we get towards this week here. So let's see. If ice and snow miss Arkansas, could this potentially be for flooding, dusting? Yes and no. Right now, the flooding potential, I was looking at that a couple of days ago and I talked about it. The flooding potential with this system is not as high because of the fact that we're in a severe drought here. So it will take a lot of rain. I mean, a lot more than what guidance is trying to throw at us right now to get a flooding situation here in the natural state. Okay, so it's still a wait and see on all that. Even if it misses Arkansas, it's just right now in terms of the flooding potential. But that's a good question. Will schools be closed, guys? Like I said before, I know everybody's seeing those maps on Facebook, stuff like that, about this being a winter storm and all that. Folks, it's too early to talk about closures or anything like that, okay? We're giving you guys the possibilities right now. That's the best we can do. We don't know the exact track of this system just yet. We're still a couple of days away. A lot of things can change between now and then. The confidence of some winter weather, at least some winter weather, is on the table. The problem is right now is trying to determine where this low is going to track. Until we get that answered, you're going to see a lot of flip-flops on the next couple of days. That's why we're telling you guys now, just have an idea, make up like a scenario plan, like if it does happen, you know what to do. We'll try to give you guys as much early a notice as we possibly can, but right now it's still a wait and see on all this. So, it's a great question here. So models are undercutting the power of that 1048. And Michael, that's a good point. Like I told you guys before, model guidance does not do well with Arctic Air. It just doesn't. Every system we've had, every setup we've had, it never does well with Arctic Air. It just doesn't do it. So that's why you're seeing the majority of everybody saying that this is going to go south, the low is going to go south of Arkansas, because of the fact that this is a strong Arctic high coming in. Okay? A very, very powerful Arctic high coming in. 1048, Monterey high coming down. That is a lot of cold air coming down with this system. And that has enough power, depending on the strength of this low, to push that track all the way south. That's why I'm saying just have that mindset in place. But right now, I just do not like what I'm seeing in terms of that ice setup. Right now, where that ice sets up is going to be a very, very critical question at this point here. So, how long after this storm before it gets above freezing? Katie, that is a great question. Guidance right now, it just depends on how much accumulation you see. Let's go with the NBM real quick, and I'm going to kind of take a look at that. So, with guidance right now, and this is accounting if you have freezing rain, sleet, snow on the ground, by the way, doesn't get you above freezing until Saturday. And that's still debatable, depending on how much you have. That's how much cold air we've got coming in behind this system, guys, okay? That's why I'm saying impacts, whatever impacts we get out of this system can be long-lasting. This is not like it was with the last system. Last system was quick hitting. You had marginal cold air. It wasn't a lot of cold air to begin with. And the impacts happened and they were out. This time around, you're going to have at least 1 or 2 days where you do not touch freezing. It is going to be one of those setups that if you get an ice storm or a winter storm here in Arkansas, it's going to be bad. That's why they're saying the severity of the impacts right now is still yet to be determined because of the track of the low. That's why we're saying right now it's still a wait and see. But behind this system, there's a lot of cold air. Temperatures on Friday, some folks in northern Arkansas may struggle to get out of single digits and teens. That's how strong this cold air is coming in behind this system. Okay, so it's a wait and see on everything right now. It just solely depends on accumulations or who sees what at this point. If it's a cold rain, then it'll rebound somewhat quicker. But if you have a majority of snow and sleet and freezing rain on the ground, you're talking at least Sunday before you start getting above freezing. You start talking about getting the road back up and all that. This system has the potential of being a pretty bad ice storm or winter storm for us here in Arkansas. I'm just going to be straight up with you. The potential's on the table. Right now, it just depends on where that low tracks. That's the number one question with the system here. So, Ron, thank you. I appreciate y'all for being here. How much ice accumulations will begin to impact travel and power? Right now, 1/4 inch of ice. That's all it's going to take. The ground temperatures are cold. And that's another thing. The ground temperatures are colder than everybody thinks they are. Okay? Ground temperatures are in the 30s and 40s right now. So, it won't take much. It won't take much if you have it. So, it's a wait and see. I think by Monday we should have a better answer for this, but it just, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of question marks right now in terms of who will see what, etc. So that's why these are scenario maps. This is not an official forecast at this point. It's just a scenario on if the low goes south or the low goes north. That's why we have these scenario maps out at this point here. So let's move forward. This is scenario 2. Joy takes this in northern Arkansas, but if I was in northern Arkansas right now, and northwest, especially northwest, I would probably go ahead and have that mindset of, hey, there's at least a potential winter weather on the table. Let's go ahead and start making some preparations. Let's be on the safe side. That only goes for northwestern Arkansas. Everybody else right now, question mark still remains pretty big at this point. So, wait and see everyone's favorite words. Unfortunately, that's the truth. Yeah, Dustin, I really hate saying those words. I really, really do. I wish I could come out and tell you guys exactly what's going to happen, what time it's going to happen, who and what. But the world of weather is not like that. And especially you're talking this far out. That's why we say it all the time. It's just, it's just what we can see as we get towards that time frame, okay? That's just the world of weather at this point. But I really wish I could have a better idea for you guys. So I wanted to go live to at least give you guys a glimpse on what we could potentially be looking at here. So, do you think Central Arkansas will see any snow out of this? It's still a wait and see. I think at the very end of this event, everybody will change over to at least a brief period of snow. That's a given. Where does this set up? Where does the low set up? Katie, great question. Yes, I will be live tomorrow. Where does the low set up? That's going to be the number one question on this right now. That's the number one thing we're trying to figure out. Once we get an idea of where that low sets up, the forecast becomes increasingly easy for Arkansas. It becomes extremely easy. Once we get an idea of where this low is going to track. That's the number one thing right now here, guys. So, this is what everybody's been talking about. Summer Forest, what everyone's been kind of going at right now here. So, James was stocked up on canned goods, getting candles and gas, backup heat, and cooking. That's a good idea, especially for this weekend. Just kind of have that mindset. because I know everybody this weekend are trying to figure out what they're going to do for next week. Have that mindset in place. You know, hey, if this looks like to be a winter storm here in Arkansas, then have that mindset on what to do, what can I do, how can I prepare for it, etc., guys. So just gotta have that mindset ready to go for next week. Right now, it's still too early to determine what's gonna happen, but we'll keep you guys updated on everything here. So, if you guys got any more questions, please let me know. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any questions because I got flooded with a lot here. So let me see here. Wet wind levels will constitute into blizzard warnings at 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts or higher, and you have to have that sustained for at least 3 hours or more at this point here. So let me see. Kevin, I've already got that one. Let me see. What about me in South Arkansas? KC right now, it's still a wait and see down there in Southern Arkansas. Most guidance keeps you at least a cold rain down there, but I am very worried that guidance is underdoing this cold air. I really have a big feeling that's underdoing this cold air. One thing I wanted to show y'all, by the way, is this. So I took this the other day, okay? So basically what you're looking at here, you see what's going on. This is your setup, by the way. The nor'easter, the historic nor'easter up there right now, that's producing the 4 feet of snow, 100-mile-per-hour winds, etc. That low is going into the Arctic Circle, and then it's going to pivot its way down into Arkansas. So this is the setup you're looking at. Ridging going in Alaska, your nor'easter is going into the Arctic Circle, and it's sending that colder south. Okay, so that's the setup you're looking at right now. That's that Arctic cold air coming south. And that's the problem I have, is all that Arctic air is coming southward. It's going to push that low further to the south. That's what I'm very worried about as we get towards the Wednesday and the Thursday time frame here. So that's what you're looking at this point. And it's very interesting on how the northeast weather impacts us here in Arkansas. You see this in the fall and the summertime, by the way, too, where you have a Category 3 hurricane up there in the northeast. It goes into the Arctic Circle, and then it sends down colder air down into our area, and it results in one of those pattern-changing cold fronts we talk about all the time up there for Arkansas around that time frame. So it's very interesting on how their weather impacts us down here in Arkansas. So northeast Arkansas, what do you think right now? It's I hate saying this word, but still a wait and see. Have a mindset for at least some winter weather being possible on the table. Have a plan ready to go. That way, you know, you have a somewhat of an idea on, hey, okay, this is what I'm going to do. If this happens, then I can go do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. I will say by at least late tomorrow and in the early Monday, we should have a better idea on what's going to happen. Your system is offshore of Alaska right now. All your upper air networks are up there right now, so it's going to get a read of this system. I think even in some cases it could be as early as late tonight and the early part of your Sunday morning. If that were to be the case, then we see a good amount of agreement coming out with models tomorrow, then we'll have a little bit of a better idea for tomorrow here. But for the last couple of days, the trend has been there for at least some winter weather to impact us here in Arkansas. It's just a wait and see on what's going to happen at this point here. So what about Southwest Arkansas? I know I saw your map. I want your opinion. Actually, if you want my honest opinion, I'm very worried about South Arkansas. I'm very worried about this. And I've talked to Derek about this too. We've seen setups like this before, and it normally does not end well for that I-30 corridor down in Southwest Arkansas. It normally does not end well for y'all. We're talking ice, freezing rain and sleet, going over the snow. It normally does not end well for y'all down there. So it's a wait and see at this point. Best thing I can tell you is just have a mindset in place. That's the best thing I can tell you right now here. Matt, all the bread and milk is gone. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. We were seeing that the last couple of days. The bread and milk is just completely gone at this point. So, yeah, it's terrible to lose power. It's still a wait and see. Let's go back to the Euro real quick. And I'm going to try to pull this up. Let's go to the Euro real quick. Let's talk about the Euro for a second. So this is the NBM, by the way. So basically what the NBM is, you hear this a lot with most of your meteorologists in Arkansas or National Weather Service. This is the combination of all your computer model guys. That's GFS, Euro ensembles, GFS ensembles, the NAM, every single model run you can get combined into one. And the fact that it has this concerns me. I don't even want to know what it has for the ice. I don't even want to know what it has for the ice right now. So that's what is sounding the alarm bells right now. You can see on this map, just based off of this map, if you go with the NBM, okay, the better confidence for an all-snow event is up here in Northwest Arkansas, okay? That's where your better confidence is. The lower totals down here is because of ice interfering, okay? So better confidence up here for for accumulating snow, or at least an all-snow event. Further south, it's an ice event going over snow. That's what we're worried about. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I know an inch of snow is not a lot, but if you get accumulating freezing rain and sleet, an inch of snow will mess up the roads extremely bad. Okay, it won't end well. So an inch of snow in most cases is like, oh, well, not much of impacts. But if you add ice to the situation, that's where you're going to start talking about issues here. So that's what we're looking at right now. That's why you're seeing all the alarm bells going off here in Arkansas, because of the NBM. The NBM is showing this. Okay? That's all your guidance combined into one. That's everything combined into one right now. That's not just a particular one model run. This is all your models into one model right now. And it's showing this. So that's why we're saying right now the potential of at least some winter weather is on the table for that Wednesday and Thursday time frame. Will Arkadelphia get ice and snow? Nita, it's still a wait and see right now. Scenario 1 has it for you. Scenario 2, cold rain. But I would say right now, just based off what I'm looking at, scenario 1, 60%. Scenario 2, 40%. Because of the fact that guidance right now does not, it barely supports scenario 2. It's just enough to have it on the post. It's just enough to have it out there for a potential. But the majority doesn't support it because of the fact of how strong this Arctic ridge is. Could that change? Yes. Yes, the change is, yeah, it's likely to change over the next couple of days. So that's all I got for you guys at this point. If you guys got any more questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm still here. I'm probably going to try to drag this out for an hour before I start hopping off here and getting ready for your forecast for tonight here. So any estimation on the snow up there in Bentonville, Elizabeth, this map is for you. That's the blend of everything right now, and it wants to produce 3 to 4 inches of snow up there. So Northwest Arkansas, the confidence is there. It's pretty high confidence up there in Northwest Arkansas that you're going to see winter weather up there. The question is, what happens further to the south and east across much of Arkansas? What happens from there? Okay, so let me see here. I stepped away, so I may have missed it. Worst case ice accumulations right now. Some folks, I'm honestly worried. Some folks may get a half an inch to an inch of ice out of this. I'm very, very worried about that ice potential with this setup. You got a crashing Arctic ridge coming in, southwest flow, systems going through Louisiana. That's perfect setup for ice. So right now, it just depends on where it sets up. That's the number one question. Joel, this is going to start Wednesday and a Thursday, and even in some cases as late as early Friday morning. What about temperatures? Temperatures are going to be cold, Amy. Let's talk about temperatures real quick. So, except for this is the NBM. This is the National Blend of Models. That's the technical definition for it. And you can see what it does, okay? So, let's back this up. So, this is Wednesday, by the way. So, your Arctic front's coming in on Wednesday. Alright, 30s Northwest Arkansas, 60s south. Okay, there's your boundary coming in. Now watch what happens as you progress within time. This is first thing Thursday morning. 34 degrees here in the metro. These temperatures can be overdone, by the way. Okay, teens and 20s northwest, 40s southeast. Throughout the day on Thursday, your temperatures are going to drop. Okay. Your temperatures are going to drop throughout the day on Thursday, okay? Please keep this in mind, that guidance does not do a good job with Arctic air. We saw this with the last system, where Russellville was supposed to be at 45, they ended up at 33. So, just kind of keep that in mind at this point here. But you can see what happens. The freezing line hugging central Arkansas, okay? Rain south, snow north, ice here. and then you finally crash into the 20s. And that's when everybody should transition over here to snow. And then this is the MBM, by the way. MBM has single digits up here in northwest Arkansas. I think this is overdone. I think you could potentially have single digits, even some negatives up there in northern Arkansas. Just depends on how much accumulation we're looking at right now in terms of everything here. So, 1 inch snow for Thursday morning. Accumulations right now is still too early to make a call. Their app changes within computer model, guys. They look at one model, they put on there, and then it changes what every model run. That's why that app, I don't use that app. So that's basically it. That's basically it. Right now it's just too early for accumulations here. Lake joining in. What about Southwest Arkansas? Same thing down there. I'm worried. I'm honestly worried. My gut feeling right now, that I-30 corridor. I do not like that I-30 corridor right now. I'm worried about central and southern Arkansas. Somebody's seeing ice out of this setup. It's just still a wait and see. Northeast Arkansas up there. Stock up on hot chocolate and cocoa. That's a good idea. That's more of a good idea because you got cold air coming in. So that's a good idea. Kind of stock up on that here. So far, I've answered everybody's questions, at least to my ability. And we go back to the live stream here, and we'll try to go back to the questions. And I think that's it for everybody. I mean, I appreciate y'all for being here. If you missed a live stream, please rewind. Feel free to message us if needed. I appreciate y'all for being here. If y'all got any more questions, please let me know. I'm going to stay on for another 5 more minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and get ready for your forecast that's going to come out here in about next 2 hours. And it's going to be an interesting forecast, by the way. So, let's just kind of look at GFS. I think the 18Z is out by now. Let's take a look at it. And also, I saw that one question about when we would get new runs in. They run... The 18Z runs right around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we'll start getting newer runs tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow midday, tomorrow night. So that's how they normally run. So I think the 18Z is out. We're going to wait and see what's going to be happening with that here. So Mom's worried about the freezing rain and power outage potential here. Will the system be out by Monday? Are you talking about this upcoming Monday or next Monday? I think this system will be... It just depends. Are you talking about this upcoming Monday? Because this upcoming Monday, you're fine. How the earliest is the earliest to get into town? Kind of confusing question. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all for being here and listening in. Let me see here. So 18Z, let's go out. So this is a new run, the GFS, by the way. Okay. And I'm curious to see what it's going to do, because it's been back and forth. Next Monday, okay. Next Monday, it's a wait and see right now. I think you should be good to go to Fayetteville, but just kind of stay with us here. So I'm going to stay on here for just to see what the 18Z GFS is going to do, and then I'm going to hop off of here. But very interesting what it's going to do. So I got a feeling this one's probably going to end up probably further south than it was before. So there's your low here. There's your guard air coming out, 522 millibar line coming down. That just tells you right there how much cold air is coming in with this system, guys. This is going to be a shot to the system because we haven't had a surge like this almost all season, guys. So this one's going to be a little bit of a shot to the system. You can see the cold air building in. There's your low here. Rain beginning to develop late Tuesday into Wednesday. And also, speaking of which, on Tuesday, I cannot rule out a few thunderstorms across Arkansas. I can't rule it out. Right now, I think your instability is too low to support severe weather, but I can't rule out some isolated thunderstorms on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday. And there's GFS, hardly any instability. So I can't rule out a few thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, but it shouldn't be anything major. You're not going to get a lot of severe weather with this. Southern Prediction Center has completely backed off on their wording. Some thunderstorms may be possible, but severe weather with this is going to be very, very, very negligent with this. So, Hot Springs Village, are we going to get it? That's the number one question everyone's been asking. You got to stay with us, guys. You got to stay with us for updates, because updates are going to be crammed out over the next couple of days. Also, one more thing I want to address. There's a lot of maps that are being thrown out on social media. If you see an accumulation map out this early, please question it. Please question it. Because because it's probably not going to verify. You don't put accumulation maps out this early unless for some odd reason you have every piece of guidance suggesting the same amount. But it's too early to put accumulation maps out, guys. So if you see that on your social media, please question it. Just do us that favor and please question it, because you're not going to get accumulation map out this early. It's just not going to happen because there's just too much on the line here for things to change. Tentative forecast out there in Marion. Winter weather is possible. Wait and see what happens with track of the low. That's the number one thing right now. Once we get a better handle on the low's track, we'll have a good idea on what to expect. But Matt, great question. Okay, so how far does the low have to be to completely miss Arkansas? I think you're talking about are you talking about the winter weather missing Arkansas? Because if that's the case, then you want this low to track into central Arkansas, which has a double-edged sword. It brings cold rain here in Arkansas, which would be pretty boring, but it brings cold rain here in Arkansas, and you would have to watch southern Arkansas, actually, for a little bit of, I say, severe weather because of how far north the low is. That's why early on there was some concern about severe weather, because this low was supposed to track across Missouri, North Oklahoma, and in North Arkansas. That's why we were so concerned about the potential of severe weather out of this. So far, the low has been either tracking in southern Arkansas or central Louisiana. Don't want this low going too far north either. The parameters are in place. The shear is incredible. You do not want this thing to go into Missouri and into Kansas into Missouri, because that would be a severe setup here in Arkansas. You'll get a lot of instability in, a lot of moisture return. That would completely flip this forecast. I can't rule that out either. I've seen that some crazy stuff happen, but right now we're at least pretty confident that there is at least the potential of seeing winter weather as we get towards that part here. So, follow a group of local meteorologists that use the models, local information to determine their forecast. They're saying it's too early to tell. Possibility is definitely there. That's a good question. That's a good thing. You know, it's too early to determine, but please stay with us for updates, because it's going to change, guys. All right, it's going to change over the next couple of days here. So, Donna, that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm still alive. I'm trying to pull up the GFS here. So the GFS low's still back out in New Mexico. Oh boy, I think I know where this GFS is going. I think I know where the 18Z is going. We'll wait and see. And I'm still kind of buying some time to see when 18Z is going to kind of come out. So if you guys are still here by this point in the live stream, I'm trying to look at the GFS, see what it does. It's the newest run, by the way. So Amy, I guess no snow angels this time, still a little too early. Scenario 3, by the way. I'm going to talk about that. Thank you for reminding me. Scenario 3, the Arctic Ridge completely outpaces the system. System goes into the Gulf, and this is because of an all-snow event. That's scenario number 3. I didn't post it this morning because of the fact that I know somebody was going to take that graphic and run with it. That's scenario number 3, by the way. Arctic Ridge is too strong, pushes your system down into southern Texas in the Gulf Coast, and this easily becomes an all-snow event here in Arkansas. I can see that happening. That's another possibility. So it's a wait and see. At this point, Kevin, 18Z GFS is digging the system more into the southwest. That is concerning. That is concerning. I think I know where the GFS is going. I think it's going to follow Euro. I think it's just going to follow Euro with the major ice storm here in Arkansas. It's just a wait and see what it does. Right now, guidance is not doing a good job with this system here. You're noticing how I'm kind of refreshing because I'm getting new data in with this guy. So I'm looking at GFS right now, and while I'm looking at this, ask questions. Any questions you guys have, please ask them in this live stream. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I physically can, because we get a lot of questions in, and a lot of people will say that, you know, our question never gets answered, etc. This is your time frame now. While I'm sitting here doing this, you guys got any questions about next week, please ask them in this live stream. I'm looking at 18Z GFS real quick. Okay, so there's your low. Okay, so what it does, okay, so there's 18Z, which is new Wednesday. Ice across northern Arkansas. Alright, 1039 millibar high coming down. Your low, by the way, your low is still out in New Mexico. That's scenario number 3, by the way. That's what I'm worried about. I'm really worried that your system is going to get stalled out here. Your Arctic Ridge is going to plow in, and this is going to turn into a snow and ice event. That's what I'm really worried about with this situation. When will the rain start? What day? Rain will start on Tuesday. I'll just put it that way. And then we'll go from there. That's what's going to do. Okay. Kevin, I don't know if you're looking at that model, but very interesting what it's wanting to do. I think I know what the GFS is fixing to do. You're probably fixing to see scenario 3 out of this run. We'll see. But what's my favorite scary movie? I really don't have a scary movie. That's a good one. What about Malvern, Arkansas? Central Arkansas, still wait and see right now. It's a very, very wait and see at this point. And guys, I'm telling you, and this is what I'm talking about. Remember, the 12Z GFS, what I showed you at the beginning of this live stream, was all rain. And now we're on the verge of this thing going back to winter weather. That's why we're saying everything is in place for winter weather. It's just a wait and see on what's going to happen. So, basically, like I said before, if you're seeing the screen kind of refreshing itself, it's getting new data in. No, you're fine. I appreciate that question. That's funny. About Trumpman, Arkansas, up there, Northeast Arkansas, still a wait and see right now. Ice and winter weather is on the table for the majority of Arkansas. The question is accumulations, the track below, everything's important. My concern right now, what I'm seeing with the 18Z GFS, I don't like taking one run for an example, but my concern is this, and that's what I'm thinking it's doing. That's my concern. That's scenario number 3 that we're looking at. 1040 high coming down in Arkansas, your system gets stalled out in the southwest. That's what I'm worried about. If that happens, it will be a major winter storm here in Arkansas. That's scenario number 3. So 2 out of the 3 scenarios support winter weather. Scenario 1 has winter weather. Scenario 2 has cold rain. So scenario 2 with the cold rain is starting to lose confidence. This is now starting to trend more and more winter weather versus a cold rain. The GFS right now stalls this system out, and you do not want this thing to stall out. Especially if you're in Northwest Arkansas. You're getting significant ice in here if you were to go with GFS, by the way. So it's just one run. I'm looking at it. Scenario 3, Arctic Ridge beats the system. You get snow here, and with ice in southern Arkansas. So that's the number one thing right now that I'm looking at. The track of the low right now is the biggest question at this. Northwest Louisiana, Randall, that is down there. Ooh, boy. I'm very worried about your area. I think cold rain right now down there, but don't be shocked we get to Monday and they're talking about ice down there in Northwest Louisiana. So it's 9 times out of 10 this setup, y'all always get the ice side of the thing instead of the snow, but it's still a wait and see here. So let me see here. Question: are you going to be live all this week? Because you said that last year we had a big storm system. Yolanda, for the most part, yes, I'm gonna be live. I'm gonna try to do at least 1 live a day, probably around this time frame. Or actually a little bit earlier, because this weekend I was watching a basketball game earlier. That's why it kind of got delayed. So this one, I think tomorrow, especially on Monday, it's going to be earlier and earlier. But yes, that's going to be the general idea of the next couple of days, to at least have 1 live stream to kind of talk about here. So which model verified last year, Donna? It was the Euro. We call it in the weather community the brick wall Euro. That's what nailed it last year. That's the one that literally sat there and kept producing snow, never backed down. All the guys were all over the place. Euro was just by itself, brick wall, and that's what happened. And right now, Euro, not our best friend, has the winter storm here in Arkansas. So if it keeps that trend, then we'll know what's going to be happening over the next couple of days here. So every time I read a post from you guys, I hear it in your voice. I appreciate that. I was hoping at some point at my career here that someone would say that. That's great. Is there one that would probably be the title Forecasting Arkansas Weather? Yeah. God, you could make a scary movie out of this. Rated R all the way through. So Let's see. Let's go GFS. For some reason, it's not even out yet, but let's see what it does. Man, it is stalling this system out. I mean, that's the number one thing. Poor Texas and Oklahoma over there, they're getting just obliterated with freezing rain and sleet over there. And the problem is, with this run, if you go with GFS, your 1040 high is outpacing your low, which is still buried out here in New Mexico and West Texas. If this beats this low, it's going to be a major winter storm here in Arkansas, because you get the Arctic air here pretty quick with this particular run. Let's talk about temperatures real quick with this. So temperatures will be pulling up here in just a second here. So a kid just came up and said, "What's your friend Cam talking about?" When is your next follow-up stream? Robert's going to be, I say, right around lunch tomorrow. What do y'all think? Y'all think that's great? If that works out for y'all tomorrow, we can do a live stream right around lunch tomorrow on here. So let me see here. Would scenario 3 have winter weather starting Thursday instead of Wednesday night? Actually, yes, it would. And this is my problem, okay? Look what it's doing, okay? Your front stalls out across southern Arkansas, and your Arctic air outpaces the system. You're getting that Arctic air here before this system comes through, which would support winter weather here across Arkansas. So there it is. There's GFS. This is late Thursday night, by the way. Okay, so the preset map is behind the thing here, but I'm starting to think what it's trying to do. I think it's developing the low down here, another low down here in South Texas, and I think it's going to go northeast. So we're going to see that real quickly here. I'm going to try to see what it's going to do, then I'm going to hop off of here, guys. But appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to this live stream. So it's not going to be the only one. We'll have plenty more coming up throughout the week. And I want to stress, GFS is just one run, by the way. Don't go taking this with a forecast right now. So that's a great question. I work at White River Medical Center in Batesville, Heber Springs. Should I book a room in Batesville for next week? Benjamin, please get with us in the inbox. That's a very important decision. Please get with us in the inbox. We'll kind of keep you informed over the next couple of days with that, guys. So let me see, what did the February in Arkansas do to Mother Nature? I don't know, but every winter season, February decides to do crazy stuff here. It's just typical Arkansas fashion. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so now I'm seeing what it's going to do. Okay, so your low is in southern Texas, excuse me. Southern Texas. It takes a track from southern Texas to eastern Texas, northwestern Louisiana. It's going to go through southern Arkansas. So it's going to be a cold rain out of this. Problem is, once this low backs behind it, you're going to get a crazy ton of sleet, freezing rain, and snow on the backside of this. So it appears to be too warm, even with a delayed run. However, very significant for northern and central Arkansas. Kevin, you may be seeing this a little earlier than I did, but that's the issue with this. And I don't buy that. I do not buy that out of GFS, because on a normal situation with a delayed system, your Arctic air beats it. Your Arctic air gets here before the system. That's why I'm saying don't take guidance with just a grain of salt right now. Don't go running with this with a forecast right now, because experience goes a long way whenever you're looking at a model right now. Experience tells me your high bridge gets here before your system, which would cancel out the cold rain here in Arkansas, and it would be a completely freezing rain, sleet, snow mix, basically an Arkansas slushy here at this point. Heather, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that comment so much. Let me see if I can try to heart it. Is he going to let me heart it? Is he going to let me heart it? Okay, there we go. Cool. So I appreciate that comment. Thank you for that. Great. I need you guys to be always on point. So I'm shopping now, and some tomorrow, Monday, a stack run Tuesday, and a double pack on Wednesday. Yolanda, I'm worried on Wednesday you may not have anything in the grocery store by that point if this keeps up. So I'm trying to see what it's going to do. I'm going to go over to the COD mode. I think you're seeing this a little faster on COD before Weatherbell. Weatherbell takes a long time in downloading all the graphics and stuff like that. So I'm going to switch over to that real quick, and then I'm going to hop off here. Also, I've been on here for an hour. I did not realize that. So the orange color, sleet, step forward. Do not take this with a grain of salt. Okay? Do not take this and run and make a forecast out of it, etc. Don't do it. It's going to backfire on you, I promise. 3 feet of snow, or I don't want it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that, but if you get 3 feet of snow out of this, I will officially seen it all here in Arkansas. So, give folks time to get out of church, of course. I think, okay, so I totally forgot about that for tomorrow's Sunday. And that tells you, by the way, that tells you how my days are so screwed up. I totally forgot tomorrow's actually Sunday instead of, I thought tomorrow was Saturday. So, what about 3 o'clock? 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I could probably do it there. So, we'll just do that probably same time tomorrow. Because I think we'll have 18Z guidance by then. So, we'll take this out a little bit. Okay, so that's what it's wanting to do. Okay, so you see what it's doing. Good night. Okay, 2 things I'm worried about with this. Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. Your low, by the way, your low is too far north with this. Just to tell you that right out of the gate. Your low is too far north. It takes the low from central Texas, which is here. Okay, it takes the low from here through northeastern Texas into southern Arkansas and into North Mississippi, which is scenario number 2 right now. However, heavy amounts of freezing rain and sleet from northern Arkansas down to western Arkansas. A blend between the GFS and Euro right now includes much of Arkansas. So which one is it going to be? Which one caves? Does the GFS cave to Euro, or does Euro cave to GFS? That's going to be the biggest question over the next couple of days. But look what it does, okay? So by the time you get towards late Thursday, your system's up here, you're pivoting out, you're changing over to freezing rain, a little bit of sleet, and then that's all she wrote with this system. So GFS right now, I think you're too far north. We'll wait and see on all that. But as I said before, guys, I appreciate y'all for being here. We'll keep you guys informed. That's all I have for y'all right now. We'll have your forecast out within the next 2 hours. We'll keep you guys informed right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.